Let's talk about a concept that's more often felt than it is understood. Think of it as an internal operating system for how you conduct yourself. We call it the gentleman's frame.
At its heart, this whole thing really boils down to a fundamental choice between two paths. On one side, you have a man without a frame. He just reacts to the world. He's like a pinball, getting bounced around by events, by other people's opinions, by pressure. But a gentleman with a frame, he responds. He acts with intention, from a place of inner stability. He's the one driving, not just along for the ride.
So what is this frame, really? Well, it's your internal structure, your own personal constitution. And let's be clear, this is not about dominating other people or just being stubborn for the sake of it. It's much simpler and much more powerful. It's about self-governance. It's the architecture inside you that keeps your presence solid, especially when the pressure is on. All right, so if we're gonna build this frame, we have to start with the foundation. We need to understand its core components, the very things that create that unshakable presence. Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here with internal authority. This is about leading yourself. See, a man with frame doesn't look outside for his self-worth or for permission to make a decision. His validation comes from within. He's his own primary point of reference. This quote really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? When you're the one in charge of your inner world, the chaos of the outer world can't dictate how you feel or act. You stop being a leaf in the wind and you become the anchor, steady and unmoved even when the storm is raging. Look, anyone can seem calm and collected when things are going their way. That's easy. But your true frame, that only shows up when there's friction. It's tested when you feel disrespected or challenged or just plain inconvenienced. That's where the real work happens, keeping your composure when every fiber of your being is screaming at you to just react. A lot of people think that big emotional displays, like getting angry, signal power, but it's actually the exact opposite. Real status, real strength is signaled by emotional control. Raising your voice is basically an admission that you've lost control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. A strong frame absolutely requires clearly defined standards. This means you have to know your values, know your limits, and know what you will and will not tolerate. But, just knowing them isn't enough. You have to be willing to enforce them, calmly and without feeling the need to over-justify or apologize for them. Think about it. When you over-explain a boundary, it just weakens it. It sounds like you're asking for permission to have your own rules. A gentleman states his standard directly, and then he enforces it with his actions. That quiet enforcement, that's what carries the real weight. Let's talk for a second about the power of stillness. A man who is comfortable with silence signals an immense amount of confidence. He isn't sitting there desperate for approval. He understands that not every comment, not every little stimulus actually needs a response. His calm presence just naturally commands respect. And that's the key right there, when chosen. An awkward, nervous silence, yeah, that's weakness. But a deliberate, controlled pause, that is absolute command. It makes other people lean in, it centers the entire interaction on you, and it shows that you are in complete control of your own energy. Okay, so we've covered the basic parts. Now let's dive a little deeper into the more subtle dynamics of frame. These are the unspoken rules, the things people feel on a gut level, even if they can't quite put it into words. Before anyone even has a chance to analyze your words, they feel your frame. It's a gut level thing. People just naturally defer to the calmest, most regulated person in the room. It's not because of what they say, but because of the steady energy they project. Your state of being is contagious. Here's a crucial point. The second you feel the need to get defensive or emotional to protect your position, your frame is already cracking. A strong frame doesn't need a loud defense because its very existence is its own justification. You simply live it, you state your position, enforce it, and move on. Let me break this down with a quick example. Explaining why you have to leave work. Oh, I have to leave because subconsciously that seeks permission. But declaring it, I'm leaving at 5, that's a statement of authority. See the difference? One is a request, the other is just a fact from your reality. So what are the things that actively undermine your frame? I call them leaks in authority. And if you look at this list, they all share a common theme: seeking validation, reacting emotionally, over-explaining, and people-pleasing. Every single one of these behaviors outsources your sense of self, basically admitting your internal world is dependent on the external one. All right, theory is one thing, practice is another. How do we actually build this thing? Let's get practical and look at the blueprint, the 5 essential pillars for creating a truly unshakable frame. I want you to picture this as a pyramid. At the very bottom, the foundation of everything, is self-command. That's mastery over your own impulses. Once you have that control, you can build the next level, your uncompromising standards. Then your emotional intelligence lets you apply those standards out in the real world. This is what creates your presence and poise. It's how your frame is actually expressed. And at the very top, the peak of the pyramid, all of it comes together and purpose-driven leadership. See how each pillar supports the one above it? So here are the key phrases, the mantras for each pillar. For self-command, it's simple. Control yourself before you control anything else. For standards, remember, your standards create your reputation. For emotional intelligence, be aware, not overrun by your emotions. For presence, you have to know that your presence speaks before you do. And finally, for leadership, lead with mission, not with ego. We've covered the components, we've gone over the blueprint. Let's wrap this up with a core philosophy, the final truth that holds this entire concept together. This right here is the most essential truth. The goal is not to win every argument or come out on top in every exchange. The real goal is to maintain your internal integrity, no matter what the outcome is. You can actually lose an argument, but keep your frame perfectly intact. The real victory is always internal. And no, this isn't about arrogance. It's about having a center of gravity that is so solid, so stable, that you become a point of reference for others. You don't bend and contort yourself to fit into the world. You stand firm, and the world adjusts to you. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. In those moments of high pressure, who's really in charge? Is it your intentional, well-built frame? Or is it the fleeting chaos of the moment? The answer to that question changes everything.